Hey, hello, first graders. Today we're looking at lesson 6-4. They're going to be asking us to continue to interpret data. We're going to find that on page 371. So if you can please make sure you have your book out. Again, that's lesson 6-4. Let me share my screen with you, or my workspace, I should say. Continue to interpret data, 6-4. That's page 371. So here you go. You can see Marta is on that page, and she has some sort of chart here where she's looking at birds and rabbits. So we're going to go ahead and read this part together. At the park, Susan sees 13 animals in all. 9 are birds. The rest are rabbits. How can Susan complete the table to show this? Show your work. Okay, so we know that it's helpful to go back and identify important information. So I know at the beginning that Marta is at the park. I'm sorry, Susan is at the park, and she sees 13 animals in all. So if I look a little bit more closely at this chart, I'm noticing it looks an awful lot like a parts to whole chart. Did anybody else notice that? And all I need to do is put this top part here, and I can see I have my part 1 here, which are birds, and my part 2 here, which are rabbits, and then my whole would be at the top, right? And it tells me 13 animals that she saw in all. So I'm just going to write 13 up there, just to kind of help me to organize my information and keep track of what I'm looking at. I also know that 9 are birds, and based on the chart here, they've already gone through and drawn those 9 birds in that section, right? What we need to figure out is how many were rabbits. So again, if I treat this like a parts to whole chart, I know that I have 9. I'm going to need to add to that something to get to 13. So one possible way of solving this would be 9 plus something, we don't know what yet, equals 13. That's one way of thinking about it. Another way of thinking about it, because we know we can have related facts that we can work with when we're using a parts to whole chart, is to start with the whole, which is 13. That's the biggest number. And from there, I subtract 9 to get the unknown part, right? So either way would work to set it up, all right? Now to solve, I could just scoop up those 9 and count on until I get to 13. So let's go ahead and try that together. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can see I needed 9 rabbits. So now, I'm sorry, 4 rabbits. So now I can go ahead and draw those in the second part. I'm going to go ahead and fill in that answer. 9 plus 4 equals 13, and 13 take away 9 equals 4. And then I'll go ahead and draw those rabbits into my chart. You don't have to have too much detail. And whiskers help to make him look like a rabbit, right? And some big ears maybe. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Oh gosh, guys. How are your rabbits coming? Oh, I forgot his little cottontail. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And his little cottontail there. Okay, now my chart is completed. And we've also, notice they asked us to show your work. We've also done that with the equations that we wrote to the side. Okay? All right, so if you need any more time with this, you can go ahead and pause the video. We're going to go ahead and look ahead to the next page up here at the blue boxes. It says, Abby asks 15 students if they like broccoli or carrots better. 6 chose broccoli, the rest choose carrots. How many chose carrots? All right, so Marta says use the tally chart to find the missing data. Okay, so for broccoli, I knew that there were 6 kids that chose broccoli. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's bundled here in 5 and 6 more. Okay, I also know that 15 students were surveyed altogether. So again, if I think of this as a parts to whole chart, the whole is 15, right? That's how many students were surveyed altogether. Oh gosh, sorry. Looking at it backwards. Okay, 15. Okay, so I can scoop up the 6 and count on until I get to 15 to solve. An equation that would match that would be 15, that's the whole, take away 6, that's how many liked broccoli, equals blank. The remainder is going to tell us how many liked carrots. So we scoop up 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I see I had 9 then that chose carrots. So they wrote a 9 there. Okay, and then lastly, she asks, how many more students chose carrots than broccoli? Okay, how many more? We're going to be comparing the numbers. We want to know who has more. So that tells me I'm going to be subtracting, right? Write an equation to compare. So I had 9. I have to start with the bigger number. 9 chose carrots. Take away 6 that chose broccoli, leaves me with 3. So 3 more students chose carrots than broccoli. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the guided practice. The directions ask us to draw the missing symbol in the picture graph and then use the graph to solve the problem. So here's my graph. I see I'm looking at favorite fruit, and the kids had 2 choices, apple or orange. So let's go ahead and read the story below. It says Jim asks 9 members of his family for their favorite fruit. 6 people say they like oranges. The rest say they like apples. How many people say they like apples? And then there's a question mark there. Okay. All right. So what do we know? Well, I'm going to show what I know and organize what I know with a parts to whole. Okay. So I know that at the beginning they tell me that Jim asks 9 members of his family. That's how many he asked altogether. So 9 is the whole, right? Of those 9, I also know that 6 people chose oranges, and it shows that here in the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 chose oranges. What I don't know is how many chose apples. Okay, so now that I have it organized in a parts to whole chart, it's easy for me to see what I need to do to solve, right? I'm going to start with 6 and count up till I get to 9, right? So we can do that together. 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 3 is my difference. So that means 3 people chose apples. So we're going to draw in to the picture graph 3 apples in order to represent that, right? There we go. So down below, when it asks how many people say they like apples, we're going to record 3. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look then at the independent practice. The directions, again, are going to ask you to use the graphs to answer the questions and to fill in the missing data. Okay, so the picture graphs are not complete as they are. You're going to need to fill in the additional information. So for example, if I look at number 2, it says a shelf at the store holds 11 stuffed animals. Okay, so I know there's 11 animals all together on the shelf. 5 stuffed bears and the rest are stuffed penguins. So here's my bears, and they've already filled in that information. 5 of them are bears. The rest are penguins. We don't know how many, right? And just to confirm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they showed all 5. We need to know how many penguins. Okay, so how would we solve for that? Again, we'll scoop up 5. We'll count on till we get to 11. Okay, and then once you get that answer, you are going to represent that in the graph by drawing that many penguins, 1 in each box. Okay, and once you have that, the question is, how many stuffed penguins are on the shelf? So once you solve and you record it here, you're going to write how many there were in the final blank. Okay, and then for number 3, you'll go through the same process, except this time they're talking about Zach's games. Okay, Zach plays 17 games. Oh, okay. So again, if I organize it in a parts to whole chart, I know he played 17 games. 9 of the games are soccer games and the rest are baseball. So I know one part is 9. I need to figure out what the other part is. Okay. All right, so numbers 2 and 3 is what you are going to be working on today for your independent work. We will be working more also with data in our Google Meets when we work in our number spirals. So until then, I hope you guys have a really great day. I'll be seeing you very soon. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.